Okay, I done a video a couple of days, I think now, a few days ago, about Meghan Markle. Markle, I was going to say that right, Meghan, okay, and the how racism, the poison of racism, trickles down from the top of the pyramid, filters down into the masses. Okay, how these evils they always come from the top and they trickle down. Okay, I want to elaborate a little bit on that because I think it's important that people understand racism and understand where it comes from. Okay, and these are big topics. I'm going to try my very best to condense them into a short video, but obviously I can't do it true justice. Okay, so please bear with me. If you're suffering from racist points of view, like you are born better than somebody else just because you're born into a certain race or a certain color, you have a sickness. You have a sickness of the mind and a sickness of the heart. Okay, and you've got that sickness because you've been lied to. You've got that sickness because you've adopted certain beliefs as you were growing up and as you was a young adult. Okay, the cure for that is knowledge. The cure for that is right knowledge. What you've learned, you can unlearn and you can relearn new stuff, the right stuff, the correct stuff to put things into place. Okay, so this belief that people are born better than the other has been around since about the late 1600s, early 1700s, even stretching into nearly the 1800s, the Renaissance period in Europe, where you had the Renaissance scientists and thinkers of Europe that were scientifically trying to categorize nature into different order and category. Okay, so what they done is they subcategorized Negroes, black people from Africa, into a subcategory of human, a lesser of a human, in order to justify the atrocities of the cattle slavery that was going on in the Americas. Okay, because at the time there was still a lot of Europeans that weren't happy, they weren't cool with what was going on over there. Okay, and they were arguing this. So in order to appease that and to justify this evil that they were doing, they invented this pseudo-scientific belief that the African race was underneath subhuman to the white race, the European race. They also did this to the Native American Indians. They actually also did it to the Irish. The Irish were subcategorized. And you know, there's drawings of their faces all looking distorted and how they're subhuman, and the Native American Indians and the Africans and other people as well. Okay, actually, the Irish were slaves in America, I think, before even the Africans. They went over in what was called coffin ships, and because they used to die in them. Some of them used to die working, and some of them were released with their freedom. Of course, it wasn't to the same extent and the same level as the Africans, but it still happened. So in order to perpetuate this evil and to justify this evil that they were doing, they had to scientifically dehumanize them with a pseudo-scientific belief that they're not the same. They're lesser than the white race. Okay. And this is basically the information that's been drip fed down through the years, and it's still being perpetuated even to this day to some extent. And if you look at Hollywood movies, and you can see it, and it can still be picked up on. Okay, so if you're suffering from that, know that that ideology that you have comes from the 16th and 17th century Renaissance period in Europe, from these so-called scientific thinkers, been more than scientifically proven to be bullshit. Okay. Slavery in itself has been going on for thousands of years all around the world. Slavery has been going on, but it's never been racially motivated. It's always been one tribe conquering another tribe, or one nation conquering another nation and then enslaving the conquered people. Okay? The Roman Empire, for example, was built upon European slavery, mostly. Same with the Greek Empire. The Cometan Empire, which is what is now called Egypt, had white slaves in it, European slaves in it, way before Africans were slaves in Europe. Thousands of years before the black people, African people were slaves in Europe. Okay, but it was never racially motivated. It was always a case of a conquering people enslaving the conquered people. But in order to justify this, the cattle slavery, the inherited slavery, where women were giving birth to slave children and they were families of slaves, they had to justify it by subhumanizing them, by dehumanizing them to less than us. That's the root of your racism. It's been proven scientifically to be bullshit. It's morally evil. You need to relearn it, okay, and put this straight. That's where it comes from. And it was done there to push capitalism so they could get free labor over to the Americas, get all these cash crops of sugar and tobacco and cotton and all these things for free. Okay, so it's in order to push the capitalist agenda as well. That's where it comes from. People, these are big topics. I try my best to squeeze them in. Obviously, I can't do them justice. I'm sorry if I've rushed through this. I just wanted to give a brief explanation of racism and where it comes from. Okay, no one is born better than anybody. Okay, no race is born better than any other race. That's a bullshit ideology, proven to be wrong, pseudoscientific belief that we should be well past by this stage. Okay, knowledge will always be ignorance. Love will always be hate. Peace.